Welcome back to WHIP, Philadelphia's #1 college radio station. Well, we've got a great guest for you here today. He has been the coach of your Temple Owls for the past 10 seasons. He played under Tom Gola at LaSalle and was also an assistant coach there, and he is now the winningest coach in Big Five history with 517 wins, sitting here with Coach Fran Dunphy. Fran, how are you today?
I'm well, Zach. Happy to be with you.
Yeah, we're happy to have you. Now, we mentioned Tom Gola. What player most influenced your game while you were playing under Tom Gola?
I played with 4 guys, actually, who made it into the pro game, and every one of them influenced me. Kenny Durrett, Larry Cannon, Bernie Williams, and a man by the name of Fatty Taylor, who spent the most time in the professional ranks. So I think those guys were just great teammates. They were terrific players, but more than anything else, they were great people, and they mentored me, and I'm very much appreciative of how they treated me as a college basketball player.
So you say they mentored you. Yes, I'm sure also learning under Tom Gola was an immense help as well.
Coach Gola was a phenomenal guy, terrific coach. He came at the right time for LaSalle. We needed him. We were in a little bit of trouble. We did play for a guy the year before by the name of Jim Harding, who was a terrific fundamental basketball teacher, but Tom Gola gave us the freedom to use those fundamentals, and he was just the right guy at the right time, and he seemed to be that way in all of life, not only at coaching at LaSalle, but playing in the professional ranks and his political career in Philadelphia and in his business career over the years as well.
He seems like a great guy to learn from. That's very high praise. Over the course of your career, which current or retired, still not playing, whatever, Big Five coach or player influenced your coaching philosophy the most?
Well, I think every one of them, to be honest with you. I had the distinct pleasure of coaching against John Chaney, and I succeeded him in 2006. We coached against each other for 17 years, and I think we only had 3 wins against Temple in those years when I was coaching at Penn. But he certainly has a tremendous influence on everybody who coached or played in Philadelphia as far as the college basketball environment was concerned. He is a great man, a great tactician, somebody who had great beliefs and an understanding of the game, and was happy to pass it along to anybody else who would listen and learn. And so I think he, amongst so many others, I coached with Speedy Morris. I had the opportunity to get a job from Lefty Irvin, also at LaSalle. So there's so many people that influence you along the way. Rolly Massimino and all the guys that are coaching now, from Phil Martelli to Jay Wright to Steve Donahue to John Giannini to Bruiser Flint, who's also in the city of Philadelphia, to Jerome Allen, who played for me and then became the coach at the University of Pennsylvania. And when he played for me at Penn, he gave me credibility that I could coach.
Well, obviously you have a lot of influences in the Big Five now. Who would you say is your toughest challenge, either current or past?
Well, in terms of the opposition that we play within the city?
Yes.
Well, certainly Villanova has had an unbelievable run under Jay Wright. Those guys have, and as we speak today, there's a chance they will be named #1 in the country before we get out of this interview. So Villanova has really set themselves up as a terrific basketball program. I think Jay has done a wonderful job. They've really good players as well.
Yeah, they are just they've got it going. They're a well-oiled machine over there in Villanova, and they like you said, they kind of set the standard. As a senior at LaSalle, you averaged 18.5 a game. You were the co-captain, and most importantly, you led the team in assists. You were always trying to get the best out of those around you. What would you say makes you an effective coach?
Good players, always good players. I think we have a terrific staff. I think we have really good guys on our team. It's funny, the best years we've had our best players. And it'd be great if we were geniuses as coaches. We could just throw our stuff out there. We could make players who aren't very good do what they can't normally do, but that's not what coaching is. It's trying to put a team together, trying to mold them into a unit that cares about each other. So you hope that the style that you have, I'm pretty demanding as a coach, want the things done like I think they should be done. You hope that the guys learn from that, but in the end, it's the talent on the court at the time is the thing that makes you as effective as anything else.
So the talent on the court makes you as effective as anything else. Now, speaking of talent, looking back at the Khalif Wyatt years, you were in the tourney back when versus #1 Indiana. You led for a lot of the game. You were right there, but at the end you fell 58-52 in a crusher. What would you have done differently?
I probably sub a little differently during the course of the game. I thought Khalif was unbelievable, especially in the first half. He was an offensive genius. He didn't love playing defense very much, but he was an offensive genius. So he really carried us greatly through those two games, the NC State game and the Indiana game. Probably subbed a little bit differently when we were playing in that game. So that would be the thing that I would look back on and change if I could. But I thought we played very well. Mm-hmm. We had a couple of shot opportunities at the basket that we didn't convert, and then Indiana was an outstanding team as well. So I think we may even have overachieved in that game for most of it.
Yeah, that Indiana team was spectacular. I'm not going to say you overachieved, because you know what, watching you guys and Khalif was he was on another plane that day, and he was
offensively, he's an offensive genius.
Yeah, he's something. You're always learning, obviously. You know, you learn from previous experiences like that. You were an undergrad at LaSalle. You got your master's degree in counseling and HR from Villanova. You got a doctorate in counseling and student development.
I did not get a doctorate. I have the coursework finished for my doctorate, but I did not achieve that. I did not finish my dissertation, so I don't want that on my resume that I have a doctorate. I do not.
Okay, rewind that. He does not have a doctorate.
You can take that out if you want.
That's too late. Anyway, you were an undergrad at LaSalle. You had a master's at Villanova. You were a coach at Penn for 17 years, and you're a coach at Temple for now 10 years. Are you always learning?
Always. Right? I think those are famous quotes. The day you stop learning is the day you stop living. So learning all the time. I had a great visit down in Florida a couple days ago, and it turns out that I met this special needs young lady whose brother is hopefully going to pitch for the Phillies in the future here, and wonderful meeting, and I learned so much from this young lady, how positive she was and how appreciative she was about life, and so you're always learning those kinds of things.
Okay. I want to go back real fast. You said you were working on your doctorate. Are you working on it at America?
No. I was working. I worked on it from 80 to 82, got all the coursework finished, completed. But in that world, you must write a dissertation, and I wasn't disciplined enough to write the dissertation. I would use the excuse that I was busy coaching and couldn't get it done. I was just too lazy to get it done is really what it was. And I wish I would have accomplished that, because, accomplishments are what life is about, and I wish I had done that. It's one of my great regrets.
Well, you heard it first, folks. Fran Dunphy does have a regret. Now, with that in mind, where did you study?
American University.
Okay, so it wasn't American. Now, the DMV is not quite on the same level as Big Five basketball, but DMV basketball, particularly in Washington, D.C., is very good. Do you find any parallels to your coaching style and your recruiting style and your game to the DMV, having been there for a few years?
I coached with a guy named Gary Williams, who became a Hall of Fame basketball coach, finished his career up at the University of Maryland, so that meant a lot to me. I watched a lot of high school games in the D.C., Maryland, Virginia area. We're still watching them down there now because they have terrific talent. But yeah, I think you're influenced by everything that goes on in your career, whether it's a recruiting process, it's going to a clinic, it's working for a Hall of Fame coach, or you're borrowing something from teams that play against you now, and you say, boy, I really like that style that they used, or that play that they ran. So you borrow a lot of things in your lifetime.
Spoke to Joe Lenardi yesterday, and as I mentioned before, you were at LaSalle, you studied at Villanova, you were a coach at Penn for many years, you are now a coach at Temple. Joe wants to know when you're going to give some service to St. Joe's.
One of these days.
One of these days. There you go, Joe. Going to the current team. You're 14-8. You're actually tops in the AAC right now. You're sitting comfortably. You've got some good wins away at Cincinnati, away at Memphis. It's Memphis, correct?
No, we lost.
It was not Memphis. Cincinnati and bear with me, Connecticut. Yeah, those were the ranked ones. Excuse me. But you got
SMU at home.
SMU at home was a big one as well.
Sure.
But you got some tough losses along the way. But they were against a ranked UNC team, number 1 in the country. Butler ranked, Utah ranked at Wisconsin, St. Joseph's by 1. Memphis, you just have a mental error. Those games happen. How do you keep a team fresh and mentally focused as the season wears on, and you really don't have much certainty about your postseason going forward?
Well, the next game, the next challenge is the next game, and let's work as hard as we can and make sure that our players are understanding what the role that they have is in trying to help us win the game. You're working on, like, for example, now we're concentrating our efforts on UConn. They did not have their big center, Bryma. The first time we played them, they will have him on Thursday. He's a great shot blocker, so we have to pay attention to that detail. So there's always something to be learned by our players, by our coaching staff, and we'll study a lot more film in the next couple of days.
Speaking of learning and improvement among players, I mean, Quentin DeCozy's just really taken that next step last year. Can you speak to his improvement as a senior?
Yeah, I think Q is really focused right now. I think he, like, for example, in the Tulsa game, did not have a very good first half, but found a way to score 21 points in the next 25 minutes of basketball that we played against Tulsa, and made an unbelievable play at the end of the game to get the ball to Devin Coleman to shoot a three that tied it, that got us to overtime. So I think he's really focused right now. I think that's what happens to seniors, and they sit back and say, okay, my graduation's coming up, and what am I going to do? What is my life going to be like over the next 40 years? How am I going to handle this? And so I think it's really starting to be an issue for Q, and hopefully he'll work through any difficulties that he has and lead us to some really good wins as we finish the season.
Yeah, you wish him the best of luck, and that guy, you can start to count on two hands how many games you have left, and I guess it just really starts to kick in as a senior. You're seeing it from Derek Coleman. He is clicking on so many cylinders right now against SMU. Have you ever coached a guy who shot 7 for 7 from 3 in a game?
I have not.
That was so impressive.
A great game.
Yeah, undoubtedly. Now, speaking about two guys who are having very, very, very good seasons, to another guy who's not necessarily met expectations, Obi Anechionia, his field goal percentage has taken a 26-point dip from last season. Why is the star who was once recruited by Shaka Smart, why is he struggling this season, would you say?
Well, I think he's over his struggles. I think he's really playing pretty well right now. I think his shooting percentage is going back up. He's a marked. He wasn't marked last year. He's a marked guy this year. Whole thing, everything changes in a year's worth of time, and kids struggle sometimes. But he's a good guy, a hard worker, and I think he'll be fine the rest of the year.
You've been in Philadelphia for a long time, as we previously indicated. Where's your favorite place to go get a cheesesteak?
I don't have one. I have many. Here on campus, I love Plaza Pizza. I'm a member over there, so they take good care of me. I love Pat's and Gino's down in South Philly. D'Alessandro's.
Yes.
So Jim's on 4th and South. There's plenty of places. I think there's a ton of great cheesesteak joints in Philadelphia, and I'm happy to tell you that I've been to most of them.
Yeah, it's tough to go wrong around here. There are so many good ones. What's your favorite place to take Bree and JP?
They take me, which is great. They take me to Fleming's every once in a while, which is close by our house, nice little steakhouse. And again, we know most of the people that work there, so I'm a lucky man.
Who's your favorite radio personality in Philadelphia?
Zach Gelb.
That's a fantastic answer.
I'd say you, Zach, but I've been interviewed much more by Zach Gelb.
It's a work in progress.
Yes, sir. You're doing great.
Thank you so much.
I'm proud of you.
No, thank you. But with that in mind, we're talking with the winningest coach in Big Five history. His name is Fran Dunphy. Fran, that's all I've got for you today. You have anything else you'd like to tell our listeners?
I don't, Zach, but thank you for spending the time with us today. And we're proud of Temple University and Temple men's basketball. And, we hope we're going to finish the season strong and make the student body proud, because that's what this is all about.
Absolutely, yes. We would like to see you finish strong. We wish you the best of luck the rest of the way. Thank you so much, Coach.
All right, Zach. Good to be with you, Pep.